Hey team, this is a fun project to try to see what can be done with regards to the 12-volt battery dying if the car sits in a parking lot at the airport for multiple weeks, or you don't drive it very much if it's idle due to pandemic issues. So I thought I'd see if there's a way to solve that problem. Currently, people can send signals with the 3G to lock and unlock the car that will activate the car, and if the voltage on the battery is low, it'll go ahead and uh, turn on the DC to DC charging of the recharging of the battery. So first plan here was to take a look at how I can pull 12 volts signal off of the fuse box, which is underneath the passenger footwell. There's two little screws you undo to take it out, and once that is opened up, you can see that there's several fuses there. One side has switched power, the other side has power that stays on all of the time. That's the one you want to get into. If you look at the diagram, that particular area that I highlighted with the blue arrow doesn't have any fuses in that area, so that's a great place to plug into. You do want to have a fuse in place, so in case there's a short, you don't blow your system. So you can buy a fuse adder to put in place. I just soldered in some connectors to a wire and then place them into that area. Here you can see the tabs for the mini fuse that's going in place and pulling power off, and there it's in actual place. The ground I connected to a torque screw, as was recommended by some people online, but that wasn't grounded, so I ended up grounding it out to the framework right next to where the fuse box bolts back up to the car. So one of the questions is, how do you actually wake the car up remotely if you're not using your iPhone app? And you need to get into the body domain controller, which is located under the dash as well. And it controls a lot of the gateway functions and is activated when the car actually wakes up. I looked to see what actually wakes the car up: radio buttons, parking brakes, opening the charge port doors, and so forth. It looks like the lock-unlock switch is the best option. So what happens is when the BDC gets a wake-up condition is met, it checks to see if the voltage is below 12 volts, and if it is, it'll go ahead and turn on the contactor to run 400 volts. Okay, so the internal power system is shut down. So we're going to see if pushing the lock button is sufficient to cause the system to reactivate. So here we go. And the answer is yes, it will. And it actually turned on the DC-DC conversion as well. So looks like it is possible to activate the system remotely with a solenoid. So short of being able to pump a digital signal directly into the BDC, we're going to see if we can actually push the door lock with a servo motor and have that turn on and off by a P-channel FET just to make sure it's in a low power condition. And on Arduino, taking in the 12 volts and using it to power the system, plus also monitor the 12 volt voltage signal at the same time, plus a display. So the 12 volt signal will be running through a voltage divider to get it down to a 0 to 5 volt range, and put that into the Arduino. The servo motor is going to be driven by a MOSFET to turn the power on and off as well to save power. And then a small screen we'll use to monitor what's going on. Here's the prototype wire up of the Arduino circuitry. It's a little bit messy here, but you might be able to see that there is 3 10k ohm resistors to reduce the 12 volt signal down to something between 0 and 5 volts for the Arduino to be able to digitize and process. There is a small U8G LED screen that's attached as well to the serial port. And then we've got a P-channel FET that's basically to shut off 5 volts signal to the servo motor when it's idle to reduce the power draw, and then it will be turned on before the servo is actuated. And then a servo motor which will turn to actuate the lock button on the door. So I'll go ahead and fire this up and see what happens when I plug it into my laptop. We're going to run it off 12 or 5 volts here, so it's going to definitely trigger the solenoid or the servo right away. So there's the boot up screen. It's showing active, and then a signal for whether, if it's been activated, it'll turn the block white at that point. Let me back off so you can see the servo. So voltage is way low, so it should trigger the servo. So that would be the action to actually push the button on the door itself. And that's basically how it would run. You can see now that it'll indicate that it's been activated. In this case, it'll try to push the button one more time, since the voltage is so low. Normally, if it did actuate, it would activate the DC-DC converter, and the voltage would pop back up to over 14 volts. So it should only indicate or actuate once when it's connected to the 12-volt system in the car. Here's a quick test of whether the 3M double-sided tape is able to hold the servo in place while activating the button, and it appears that it's capable of doing it. I also wanted to mention that I'm not going to go over the code here. We'll put it into the description for the video because it's a little bit too long to go through. Here we have the system just activated prior to me plugging this back in. I'm getting a DC system on 14.87. Over here I'm getting about 14.8, so I'm a little bit off on the calibration. But you can see that the voltage divider is giving a fairly accurate measurement of the voltage. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait until the battery drains back down to check if it's going to turn back on, since it turned on while I was plugging it in, unfortunately. So the good news is it looks like it actually is feasible to be able to keep the battery from drawing itself all the way to being dead by triggering it using manually pushing the lock mechanism. It's unfortunate that I don't have a way to, at least so far, to directly signal into the body domain controller instead of having to do any kind of a manual pushing of the buttons. But until I can find a wake-up signal that I can input into the BDC directly, this might be a good workaround. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe it would inspires you to try something on your own.